wonderful artsy friends, and welcome back to another round for Dephemerember. In the last video I prepared my cute little journal here, and if you watched the video in the end, you maybe remember that I spray dyed the ribbon, and that's the result now, and I really like how it turned out. Gave it a really nice beautiful stain here. Yeah, so that's the point where we are right now with the journal, the prepared little journal flip book. And yeah, for now I think I will just not pay too much attention to the journal, but I will focus on prompt number 1. Well, actually prompt number 2, because since I have like 4 open prompts and I'm late to the party, I decided that I don't need to do them in order. So for now, I think I will just start with prompt number 2. So actually the prompt for day 3 for December 3rd. Layered tag and retro film strip. And for that I just gathered some supplies, just a few for now, and I will just see again where it takes me. I just 3D printed some film strips with just a black filament, and I kind of thought that I would do like a layered film strip, so layering 3 of them on top of each other, so I have a nice dimension here, and it gives me the opportunity to layer something in between. So I kind of thought that I would use those 4 teeny tiny vintage Christmas photos that I printed out in this film strip. So actually layering those onto the back layer, then layering another one on top for a little bit of dimension, and then I kind of want to add some clear acetate between those, and then the next one on top. So this gives me dimension, and this clear acetate sheet and the image in the back. I think this will look really cool. And I think I will just alter the film strip with some gilding paste maybe. And I kind of felt that I wanted to use this for the layer tag. I already grabbed this piece of ribbon for the layer tag. 2 snowflakes, also 3D printed. And I kind of wanted to add here to that film strip. Hey, Flöckchen, he's back. He's always back when I'm crafting. I don't know what it is, but since those are like winter photos, I thought those little snowflakes, 3D printed snowflakes, would look kind of cool. Yeah, so that's where I am right now, and I will just put you fast forward and jump in with a voiceover and see where it takes me with this. Yes, so first I start with preparing my tag here using some craft cardstock, trimming the edges, cutting it to size. Then I'm using an embossing folder to give it a little bit of nice texture here, and I really like how it turned out. Then I just gathered some papers here, some vintage papers that I already prepared and dyed, and added some stains to, and some color, some spray paint. Yeah, just tearing it to different sizes so that I can have a little bit of layering going on here on that tag. Just tearing it to different sizes. Also some packaging paper, some like some silk wrapping paper, so just different types of paper, different like textures, giving you different kind of feeling when you touch it, because I really like that that tactile
component than just distressing and shading the edges here of my tag and of the individual papers, also bringing out that texture, that embossed texture in the background a little bit more, using some distress oxide vintage photo, crumbling the papers, bringing out those individual creases, just to give it a little bit of that ragged, distressed look. Also grabbing some printed tissue paper here, which I really like, and kind of wanted to add a little bit to that Christmas feeling of the tag, because I know that the tiny photos that I want to work with, that I want to add to the film strip, are Christmas themed. Yeah, and then I'm just starting the layering process, gluing down the individual pieces of paper here onto my tag. Just, yeah, having a little bit of layering going on here. Since, hey, it's supposed to be a layer tag, right? So we need a little bit of layering going on here. And yeah, just making my mind up as I go, as I proceed here, and just going going with the flow, basically. And yeah, later I will also add a bit of sewing here to the tag, but for now I'm just gluing everything in place. Then next I grab that sheet of clear acetate, and I'm just trimming it to fit my film strip. And then I decided that I wanted to have a bit of texture on the clear acetate, so I grabbed some StazOn ink. First I started with some green StazOn to stamp a bit of some vintage text here onto that clear acetate, to have a bit of a printed overlay effect going on here. Later I realized that the green is just a little too subtle for me. I wanted it a little bolder, so I'm going back in with a bit of black StazOn at a later point. Then I grabbed some gold gilding paste, gilding wax, and I'm just adding it to that top layer of the 3D printed film strip here, to give it a bit of that sheen, of that golden sheen. And I'm also adding a bit of that gilding wax to the edges of my papers and to the edges of my tag here, again to kind of give it all a cohesive look. And yeah, just because, right? And then I start to assemble my film strip here, starting with the first layer, the base layer. Remember, I have 3 layers here of that film strip. So the base layer, then I'm gluing down my 4 little vintage Christmas photos here on that base layer. And I just use some power glue. This is actually a wood glue, which is my favorite all-purpose glue. And then another layer, then we will just add the second 3D printed film strip here, to have a bit of a distance between the back layer of the photos and between the next layer of the clear acetate, because I didn't want it to be right on top of each other. And now at that point I realized that I want a bit more texture going on here on that overlay. So again, I just grabbed my black StazOn and added some more stamping here to that clear acetate, just to have a bit more texture on it, and to give it a bit more interest and a bit more depth as well. Yeah, and once this was dry, I'm just adding it to that second layer here, again using the same type of glue, and then adding the third layer, well, third frame of that film strip as the top layer, to finish the whole thing off, that golden one. And this then took a little bit of drying time, so I I went ahead and made myself a coffee And once that was done, my film strip was ready. Yeah, so I've done a bit of sewing here on that tag, and the film strip is dry as well. So I, punched a hole into the tag and added that a piece of ribbon here to the top, just tying it to that tag. And then I'm gluing my film strip to the tag, kind of assembling, bringing all the individual elements that we prepared together. And yeah, really like where this is going. I also grabbed some chipboard embellishments here, and like a steampunk Christmas style, inking the edges and also gluing it to the tag. Also adding a little bit of distress oxide to that piece of ribbon there at the top, just to give it a bit more of a grungy look. And then gluing down my chipboard embellishments here, adding to that steampunk vintage Christmas feeling, using some paint splatters, adding some paint splatters, just using the distressed mica stain. And then I'm just checking my journal here, seeing where I want this tag to go, and then I decided for a page that I want to adorn with my layered tag here. Then I decided, of course, that page was like still very blank and plain, so I just glued down some additional paper, kind of creating like a connection to the tag using the same types of paper on the page, also distressing the edges using my vintage photo distress oxide here. So kind of bringing it all together, just preparing that page to hold my tag, and adding a bit more layering here, a bit more depth, a bit more interest, also doing some stamping on that page. Yeah, that's how I roll, that's how I stamp. Lazy me. And then I'm just adding my my layered tag to my page, bringing it all together. Then I realized that again that tag kind of merged into the background a little too much for my taste, so I decided to give it a black acrylic frame here to help the tag to stand out a bit more, to lift it off the page a bit more. Also adding a black frame around the background, around the page, giving it that border, and again kind of bringing the individual looks of the background and the foreground, so of the background and the tag kind of together, giving it like a cohesive look, so that the style of the background of the page and the tag kind of that they kind of match, the style matches. Let's put it that way. And then also adding some word strips here, just some matching Christmassy tiny word strips. And then of course my favorite part for so many years. If you know my work, you know that nothing is finished for me without white paint splatters. So I'm just adding some white paint splatters here to finish off this page.
So I think I'm calling it done. First page, yay. Yay me. I really like how this film strip here turned out, with the layering and the clear acetate sheet in between. Gives it a really good like depth and dimension here. And the tag, I kind of think I should have maybe picked another page, another background, because the tag kind of blends into the background, and so that because of that I kind of added that black frame around the tag to make it stand out a little bit more, but it kind of merges into the background, which is fine by me. In the end, it is like a finished page. And yeah, I love the result. It was really fun. And I hope you enjoyed it, guys. And I'll see you again very soon. And I will just show you a little close-up now, so that you can take a better look.
So here we are with the film strip
It's a nice dimension, and I really love the clear acetate sheet and the stamping on it. Yeah, so that's what the page looks like, the layer tag and the film strip. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and see you all again very soon, and I hope you'll have a beautiful day. Yeah. Bye.